Hi guys, I know it's Wednesday and I don't usually do this because it's Wednesday, but yesterday was the Shadowhunters spring season finale. And I know I haven't talked about it at all on this channel. But if you follow me on Tumblr, you notice on Tuesdays I usually post stuff about the episode and whatever. If you don't follow me on Tumblr, I will send you the link. It's on the bottom. But I want to give my overall thoughts of the season and why I'm actually kind of excited for season 2 and why I wasn't excited before. So, at the start of the season, I was a little weary about the whole show as a total because I wasn't sure what to expect. I knew there'd be changes, especially on the CW, because I didn't see Vampire Diaries, but people that I know saw Vampire Diaries that read the books and said about all the changes the CW made, the network had made for the series and how it was completely different from the books and everything, and I love Shadowhunters so much. I didn't want that to happen for this series, but I knew there'd be changes, so I was a little hesitant on what I would think about the show. And a couple of my friends were actually following the updates of actors and everything, so I was looking forward to it a little more than I was originally. And I saw the cast and I was like, okay, I'm okay with the cast. I fell in love with Magnus's actor because I love Magnus. He is my favorite character and I wanted perfection and I got perfection. But I'll talk about cast a little later, I promise. But for the plot, I knew they were going to stick to the books, but I really didn't want them to stray too far from the books because there's a lot happening in each book. And there's a lot happening as a total, as a whole piece. So I really didn't want a whole bunch of changes that would stray from the plot line or stray from the original story, because then I would lose interest really fast about it, and I didn't want that. So I was a little worried at the start of it, and when the show started, I faithfully watched the first episode. And I liked it, and I didn't. But the series started, and off the bat, I had nothing, right out of the get-go, I had nothing bad with it. My biggest issue was Dot, actually. I had no idea why they had created this character, because I know she was I don't understand why they created her at all, actually. At first I thought she was supposed to be the tarot card reader in the books, the one that actually has the Mortal Cup. So I was thinking it was her, and I was like, okay, she's just, that woman that Clay trusts, and da-da-da. And then I realized she was doing all the things that Magnus did in the books, more or less, minus the changes that happened. So I was kind of pissed. I was like, why would you, especially since they had taken Magnus' character and they had changed him and they had changed what he did at the beginning of the series. So I was like, why would you do this? Why would you change this plot right off the bat? And I really didn't understand why Dot was created. And if you can explain why Dot was created, then please explain it to me, because I don't know, for me, she was a pointless character. And then for them to kill her off 3 episodes in just seemed completely wasted, just worthless. I don't understand why they would create her at all. So I was worried right off the bat. And then little things, little changes what they had with Jocelyn as her backstory, got me mad. But yeah, they changed her character and got me mad. They didn't really change her character, but they changed what her character was doing, per se. So, she's still hiding from demons in the shadow world, but you can still see she's, active in it. And if you're in hiding and you're trying not to be found, then you're not going to be active in it at all. And, that got me mad because it went against what she was doing. I had no problems with Luke. I thought Luke was great. And I was fine with the idea that he was a police officer. Like all that, like those things didn't bother me. It was actually just the plot line that got me really mad, and it got to the point where I was a few episodes in, and I actually didn't know if I wanted to do season 2. I didn't even know if I wanted to finish the season at that point, because I was really mad that they made these changes, and like stupid changes that didn't need to be done. Simon becoming a vampire, I accepted. I know what happens later in the series, like it's book 2 that it changes, and it happened, 4 episodes in. Like, I accepted all of that. That was fine. There was one part of that, though, that got me mad. I feel like it was when they were in Hotel de Mort that I wasn't crazy about it. I feel like it could have gotten, no, it wasn't. I didn't have an issue with that. No, the whole Hotel de Mort thing was fine. I didn't have a problem with that. I didn't have a problem with his capture, his release, that was fine. I liked how they still incorporated the fact that, churches hold the holy instruments for them to attack demons and vampires and stuff. Like, that was fine. Those changes were cool. But I really think it was little changes that actually turned out to be big changes. For example, the Institute. Now, I'm reading Lady Midnight currently, and one of the, I'm only on chapter 6, I think, if even chapter 5 maybe, and in chapter 3 they talk about the LA Institute and how the Clave and the higher ups of the world for the Shadowhunters, they don't want modern technology. They don't like computers. They don't like anything modern. It's all not prehistoric, obviously, but it's all older technology, the witch lights and stuff like that. They don't want this modern base. And then you look at the show Shadowhunters, and you walk into their institute, and it's all modern. Touch screens, things popping out of places, like I can scroll stuff, I can take my weapons out with it's really advanced technology, and that's not what the Clave wants. Like in the books, it's completely different. They don't want any of that stuff. Their training room is really tiny, little things like that. And I could deal with Hodge being different. Like, he's still their tutor. I actually kind of liked the younger look. I know, in the movie, they made him older and gave you that wiser feel, and I liked that all. That was nice. And I liked the newer take on him on this time as well. So, character-wise, I didn't have an issue with the characters. I love all the actors that they cast. My only tiny little thing was at the start of the series, I wasn't sure about, not that I wasn't, okay, not that I wasn't sure about, actors. It was the female actresses came off so strong and powerful, and the males had to pick it up. Simon was the only one that right out of the gate was like, I own this character. Jace and Alec, when I first met them, I was like, they need to step it up. The females, Izzy and Clary, are totally kicking their asses. I can't even explain, but you watch them, and they're just these really amazing actresses, and they're playing these roles beautifully. So, I was like, the guys have to step it up. That was my only thing. And I wasn't sure about Alec's portrayal, because we know he's supposed to be this wiser, more mature Shadowhunter and Big Brother and everything, and this role model, and I feel like he was just so strict right out of the gate. I was like, I don't know how they're going to. I was curious to see how his character would develop from that point, knowing from where they started from. But that was my real big issue. I think the only really main issue that I had with the show was just all the little plot changes that weren't actually needed. Like I said, I loved Magnus. I wanted to see Magnus and Alec, and I loved their connection and how they flirted, but they didn't flirt, and all these subtle things. And Jace and Clary, I've never really shipped Jace and Clary, just because for some reason, never shipped them. They're cute, but they're not my main ship. I'm shipping Magnus and Alec all the way. So I don't know, I was watching the show as a whole, and it took me a good 6 episodes to stop comparing it to the books, because I was like, I can't. If I compare this, all these changes from the book, I don't like the show. And the show as a whole, if you've never read the books, the show is beautiful. It's well done. The actors are really good. The visual effects are really good. You know, all of the stuff that make a show good from, you know, the production standpoint were amazing. And the actors were really good. So it was just reading the story as a whole, like reading the story first and then watching the show made me upset, because I really liked the books and I really didn't want to see all the changes that they made. Though I knew they'd be changes for 2 reasons. It was the CW, and people always change the script to make a TV series out of it. So as the series progressed, by mid-season, I really wasn't sure if I was going to continue. I wanted to see how the show ended. And then I was actually holding out for episode 12, because 12 is my favorite. 12 is entitled Malik. I like Malik. Malik is my favorite. So I was watching for that episode. I was like, depending on how Malik goes, will depend on, you know, how I continue the season. Because if I don't get my couple, then the show is pointless to me and I have no desire to finish watching it. So I was waiting on that. And, the including of Lydia. She started, and the first words out of my mouth were, who was she in the books? Because they just created this character to create a character, to create plotline, drama, and tension and stuff. And I didn't see the need for her at all. I'm sorry. I just had a really bad mouth today. But I really wasn't sure why they created her. I didn't see a point to create her. I mean, again, like, the book has a lot of detail and story progression that happens on its own. I don't really see the need for, like, side things or, you know, plot changes, because I feel like if you adapt the script correctly, you'd still have a series that would work. But that's just my personal opinion as it is. So I was that biased towards it, I guess. But I really wanted to wait and see, but I didn't like Lydia at all. I didn't like her attitude. I didn't like her interfering with my baby. I didn't like her at all. So, and plus I was at this point where I was still not happy with the changes that they were making in the show, so I was in that middle range. Then the engagement happens, and I freaked out. I was really hoping that something would happen and the engagement wouldn't happen. Either Lydia would say no, or someone would step in and, you know, drag some sense into Alec for doing this proposal, which is the stupidest thing he could do for a few reasons. So I was waiting to see what would happen at that point. And then, you know, I'm watching the character develop of Magnus and his feelings and ideas, and I was like, okay, maybe something will happen. I'm waiting, like, I was holding out on something happening with the two of them, because I was like, I don't want this wedding to happen. This wedding is just so bad in so many ways, and it was really frustrating, because when you ship a character so much, and you love the, you know, the tension and the actual feelings for each other, and you can see that you don't want anything to happen to your couple. And I was like, this is disaster, a total disaster. And oh my god, I freaked out so much those following episodes, because I was waiting to see what would happen in general. The biggest thing that got me really mad was there was something that was going on towards the end of the season that I wasn't sure why I wasn't happy. I wasn't sure why I wasn't happy, and then it hit me. Jace and Alec have the bond for themselves, you know, that they follow each other, the parabatai bond, and that is, you know, this eternal, like, we're linked together forever and with each other's back. And as the season progressed, you watched that bond breaking, and that was what was bugging me, and that was the underlying issue I had with the series for a while, because in the books, you know they have this unbreakable bond, and you know they have a breakable bond because they have the rune that ties them together. And the fact that they were breaking it so easily, fighting, like, you can get that they fight because they fight normally, but then they were fighting so much more, and, you know, willing to break off the relationship that they had. And what? Like, that's what was bugging me. And once I realized that, I could kind of accept things, not could accept things more, but I was more willing to see how things played out, because that was what was bugging me. And I knew that if that bond was broken, I didn't care anymore. You know, as much as I love Magnus and I love Alec, if they had broken up the bond between Alec and Jace, I was done, because I knew that was such a core thing, and that, you know, that's a huge chunk of everything that happens. You know, like, the bonds in the story are what keep the story going, because everyone's always doing things, they're always together, and the missions that they face, they face it together. And to change that would have ruined everything, and I didn't want something to be ruined in that way. So I was scared, and I was mad. And then oh my god, the filler episode happened. I don't remember if it's 10, I don't remember if it's 11. I think it's 11. It's the episode where they go to the other dimension. That filler episode should have never existed. I hated it. It was just awful. Out of every episode in that season, that episode was my least favorite. And the fact that I turned it on during the marathon and it happened to be that episode got me so mad, because I hated it so much. The only parts of that episode that I liked were the parts where they were in the normal dimension with Simon and Luke and the stupid officer that was getting internal affairs that was getting in the way. Those were the parts of the episode that I enjoyed more. Every time they switched to the other dimension, I was done. I hated it. I didn't like it. I thought it was cute that they included, you know, Chow Mein Meow in church, and they included, like, little things to hint to the book, but overall the episode was just awful, and I didn't want it to be anywhere in my season, because it just didn't do anything. So I was not happy with that episode. It ended at 10 o'clock, and I was like, oh, I need my episodes to go back. But I really liked how they incorporated Michael, and, you know, it turned all the changing into Valentine and stuff. Like, those parts were good. And after they got past the issues I were having with the show, I enjoyed the story more. For example, with Alec and Jace, and, you know, with Lydia and Alec, and all that fun stuff. And plus, at this point, I had already accepted the fact that this was not going to follow the books for the most part. So I wasn't holding out looking for those pieces. So I accepted that, and I kind of moved on, and I was happy with it for the most part. I enjoyed this. Like, I was enjoying the show more at this point. And then, you know, you get the reveal of Jace and Clary, and I was like, okay, like, those episodes, I feel like the ending episodes were actually really well done for both script and, you know, production, and they were just really good episodes. I liked, you know, they got Jocelyn back. I liked all that stuff. I like the fact too that they didn't just wake her up, that she was still asleep. I would have really liked to see more confrontation between Valentine and Jace during that, but overall I was happy and okay with what had happened. And then with, let me think, the wedding. There we go. This is the episode I was waiting for. Malik is the name of the episode. I believe it's episode 12. Yeah, it's definitely episode 12. It's the second to last episode of the season, and it is the wedding between Lydia and Alec. And this entire time, I'm going, Magnus needs to step in. You know, like, I'm watching him, and my heart's breaking because the actors are so good, and you see Harry and you see Matthew, and they have really good chemistry on screen. And I mean, Magnus is trying to talk some sense into Alec, and you can see his heartbreak, his eyes just show all this heartbreak and pain and suffering, and you're just like, oh my god. I mean, this was in the first 5 minutes, and you see like this constant struggle between both of them, and it was so fun to watch them progress as individuals and as a couple. At this point, they're questioned, but I was told about Magnus coming into the wedding. Well, I knew he interrupted the wedding, and I knew he spoke with Alex's mom. Yeah. So but I wasn't sure when any of this would happen. So I was very happy to see he come in right before, everything was finalized. I was like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you so much. Like, you did exactly what I wanted to do. Everything about that episode was just beautiful. I loved their kiss. I loved how real it was. And it was just so great. I had waited all season for that episode, and it was worth the wait. It was so perfect. It was so good. And the reaction of Alex's parents and the reaction of his friends and everything was just so perfect and spot on. It was so beautiful to watch and see, and it just made me so happy. And then my babies got together. Just so good. And Lydia was amazing, and the fact that she was so willing to give Alec, his happiness was really nice. Considering at the beginning when she was introduced, I hated her and I wanted her to get her face slapped. But throughout the entire season, I completely forgot that there was a traitor, and I forgot that I knew that the traitor was Hodge. So it was after the wedding that I was like, oh yeah, I do know who the traitor is. It's Hodge, because I read the books, and yeah. So anyway, so that was that. And then the season finale happened, and because the season finale was yesterday, I don't want to say too much about it. For those that haven't seen it, though, if you're watching this video, you've probably already seen it, and you've probably seen the entire season, because this whole video is like a spoiled episode of the season. But my biggest issue with the season finale was, again, I really wanted more conflict between Jace and Valentine. I liked the emotional turmoil that was going on inside of Jace that you've seen throughout the entire time he found out that he was Clary's sister and everything, and I really would have liked to see more confrontation between Jace and Valentine. I'm not really happy with the fact that he just walked away with him and is taking, is standing by his side as like his right-hand man now. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. But I loved the turmoil that he faced. I loved, them trying to find the Book of the White. The apartment, Camille's apartment, gorgeous. I want her apartment. But I mean, I think my biggest issue with the entire season finale is the fact that I would have loved more conflict between Jace and Valentine, because you definitely know he's facing this inner struggle. And even if you've read the books or you haven't read the books, he's facing a struggle. And he's questioning everything that he knows about himself and about his childhood, because, he believed this person raised him or that person raised him, and it's Valentine. And so, I mean, I'm interested to see how season 2 starts. Obviously, I kind of know the direction that they'll go in, because I do know the books, and I do know that the plotline has to stay kind of similar to them, because I don't see Cassandra being like, oh yeah, let's just change everything. Like, I'm going to allow you guys to make all these changes. So, yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions on that. I know this video was choppy. I actually had an issue. I had to keep stopping and starting the video, so if it's weird in spots, I apologize in advance. I'm also doing this on my webcam, not my camcorder, for a couple of reasons. So, yeah. But, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions, ideas? What did you think of Shadowhunters Season 1? Are you excited for season 2? Do you care for season 2? Do you like what are your thoughts on Shadowhunters? I mean, now you know mine, and kind of waiting on season 2, and I want to see how that takes off, but I want to know what you guys think. So with that, I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good day. Have a good week. And let's hope season 2 comes out soon. Bye.